Hello, my name's Michael Conneely and this video is called Hooray for the full moon of the 16th of April 2022. See the two videos in fact, this full moon explanation and also the full moon vision journey suggested outline, plus of course the blog to support these, the blog post. Now this full moon is at 2 degrees Libra in Chaitra Nakshatra in Vedic astrology, with the sun at 2 degrees Aries in Ashwini Nakshatra. Now in Western astrology this moon is at 26 Libra and the sun is at 26 Aries. I live in a remote farming area in the west of Ireland and that was a tractor going past my window. Okay, see the charts for this full moon of the 16th of April in both Western and Vedic astrology on the April 2022 page of my Star Wheel Astrology website. So there now follows a statement of the 8 main energy tides this full moon brings in. These 8 main energy tides are as follows. 1. The nodes of the moon change sign into Aries and Libra. 2. The Chaitra pearl is polished. 3. The sun emerges to full power from the Gandanta in the sign of Aries. 4. Jupiter and Neptune are setting up the most wonderful supervision camp in Pisces now. 5. Saturn is square the nodal axis in the chart of this full moon, and so he takes on a fated energy and he's leaving Capricorn and entering Aquarius for a few weeks. 6. This full moon has within it the preposterous divisive tension of Kalsarpa Yoga that needs to be understood. 7. This really needs to be understood and worked with. Pluto is T-square this full moon. And number 8, the Mars-Saturn violence and frustration is receding, but still there. Okay, let's go a little bit more into the detail. Point number 1, this full moon brings us the energy of the nodes of the moon, Rahu and Ketu, North Node and South Node, changing sign into Aries Libra in Vedic astrology. Above all, note that this full moon brings in the super powerful energy of the nodes of the moon changing sign into the new signs, Aries Libra, that they will be in for the coming 18 months. The actual sign change date was the 12th of April. So, in the chart of this full moon, Rahu, the North Node, is at 29 degrees Aries in Kritika Nakshatra. And note that Rahu is heading to powerful conjunction with Uranus in Aries on the 26th of July. Ketu is at 29 degrees Libra in Vishakha Nakshatra and is bringing weakness and challenges into Libra. It is so important to understand the message of the nodes changing sign, which this full moon now delivers. Realise that Rahu in Aries is me first, whereas Libra in Ketu brings in a critical attitude to your relationship. But the highest dimension of this is actually to bring in a higher spiritual dimension to your relationship through greater spiritual awareness. So do see my 5-part blog post and videos all about the nodes of the moon changing signs now. The links for these posts are in the blog post for this full moon and they're on the Star Wheel Astrology April 22 page. So there's an intro video and blog, and then there's more detail of how to understand the activation of Aries and Libra by the nodes of the moon. And then there's a wonderful blog with 2 supporting videos about the nodes of the moon activating 6 new Nakshatras, 3 in Aries, 3 in Libra. And then there's upcoming shortly how to understand the nodes of the moon from the houses that the nodes of the moon are in your Vedic birth chart. And crucially, finally, how to understand it if the nodes of the moon are transiting across a planet in your birth chart in Aries or Libra now. Okay, so that concludes my comments on the nodes of the moon which this eclipse bring in. The nodes of the moon entering Aries and Libra. My next point is that this full moon brightens the Chitra pearl. The moon is at 2 degrees Libra in Chitra Nakshatra, where indeed a really nice guy has his sun. Guess who? And so Chitra, their symbol is a pearl. And in their life, they may have many difficulties, but more and more they have to keep on polishing and polishing the pearl that is the symbol of Chitra, so it shines ever more brightly. The energy of this full moon helps that. Point number 3, the sun emerges to power from the Gandanta. The sun is just emerging from the Pisces Aries Gandanta. So the sun and the moon are at 2 degrees Aries, Ashwini Nakshatra, 2 degrees Libra, Chitra Nakshatra. And specifically, we're looking at the sun arising out of the immaterial Gandanta zone from the end of the water sign Pisces, the start of the fire sign Aries. And so this full moon calls us to honour now the arisen strength and nature of the divine sun. The worship of the sun, each of the planets, is truthfully a face of the divine, if only we humans can see that, understand it and embody it. The sun is the divine charioteer who drives the chariot of ourself and chooses our right way forward. We need our sun to be strong. And equally, we have a duty to shine blessings on all, which is the nature of the divine sun. Point number 4. Jupiter and Neptune are setting up a wonderful vision camp in the sign of Pisces. There's such a blessed opening of our intuition felt now to be worked at its best potential. The best potential for Jupiter Neptune in Pisces is wonderful intuitive opening and vision work. Jupiter has just entered Pisces and it's in the 1st degree. Neptune enters Pisces on the 18th of April. So this is a newbie but fast-growing conjunction of shaman, mystic energy for each of us to bathe in. It is about to flower more and more if we work at it and learn the methods. Very importantly, note that Jupiter and Neptune are the apex of an ambivalence triangle in relation to the opposition that is the nodal axis in the chart of this full moon. You can see it in the Western chart on my April 2022 page, Star Wheel Astrology. In other words, the tension of the opposition and of the Kalsarpa Yoga that the opposition represents is flipping us for refuge to the beauty and intuitive opening of Jupiter-Neptune. And the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction is in an aspect both to the north and to the south node. So the nodal tension is flipping us into spiritual vision. Unless, of course, we unfortunately are stuck in enjoying and voicing the divisive tension of the Kalsarpa Yoga opposition between the nodes. So go for vision openings now. Go to work with the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. Point number 5, Saturn is square the nodal axis as he leaves Capricorn for Aquarius for a few weeks. Whoa! Saturn is poised to leave Capricorn on the 29th of April for a brief dip into Aquarius. And note that Saturn is square the nodal axis in this full moon chart. And he has the status of the chart's Atma Karika or soul indicator. So he's super powerful. And Saturn, I can feel Saturn fatedly exacting his last drops from us and making us tie up our loose ends at the time of this full moon. Point number 6, please recognise the preposterous tension of Kalsarpa Yoga is here in this full moon time. We need to recognise and deal with the fact that it's there. Otherwise you get the sensationalist divisive ranting. And don't be drawn into it, even if it purports to be spiritual or politically correct. Point number 7, Pluto is T-square this full moon. This is so important to realise. In a moment I'll be doing the part 2 video suggesting a visionary attunement to this full moon. With Pluto T-square this full moon, it's a chance to come more into your rightful power. Do your needed journey to the abyss to contact and raise to the light and heal your buried darkness, wounds, secrets and guilts now at the time of this full moon. I offer journeys to the abyss for healing online. You can order them through my Star Wheel Astrology website. If we do not do our journey to the abyss, our wounds, etc., hang like baggage blocked round our necks, and so prevent the rays that actually ever come down to us from the divine, prevent those rays from the divine from easily entering through our crown chakra, so they cannot flood through our body and through our chakra system, as is our right, as is our need. So it is a very good time to do a journey to the abyss and enter your darkness and hand over some of the blocks and wounds, guilts and secrets, making any necessary promises at the same time. Buried material will be holding us back, but this is an opportunity to come into our power and clear it. This is the essence of the Pluto-Persephone myth. At this time, this is the essence of the Ishtar-Inanna myth. Lastly, I'd make the point that the Mars-Saturn violence and frustration is receding. Mars has now moved 7 degrees away from Saturn, and the violent, fighting, tense, frustrated energy of the Mars-Saturn conjunction that was exact on April the 5th is thankfully receding at the time of this full moon, although, as Rashi Avashtas for the full moon chart show, Mars and Saturn are still definitely harming each other terribly as of now, still. So get a reading from me about how to work with the many energy shifts that this full moon brings in. Go to my Star Wheel Astrology buy page. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.